Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties. Today's tutorial I want to show you how to create text-only SVG files in Inkscape. Inkscape is a free software, so it's kind of a fun and free way to create your own SVG files that you can use with your Cricut or your Silhouette. In today's tutorial, we're going to go over just this text portion, and I'm going to show you how I created that all. And then if you want to stick around afterwards, I'll show you how I got this outline, this border here. But that's more of an advanced element. So if you're just beginning, just watch the beginning of this video and I'll show you how to create these text-only SVG files. Okay, so the first thing you want is some text, right? This text I got from Creative Fabrica. It's called Sorenka. Okay guys, this font is fabulous. There are so many different things that you can do with it. It's got all of these additional elements that come with it. So it's got a bunch of clip art that you can get. You've got loops and swirls, you've got ligatures. It's going to give you this simple one. It's going to give you one with these little curly cues in it. It's going to give you one where there's kind of some cutouts, and then it's going to give you just a bunch of simple catchphrase words. This font is really, really fabulous. If you're watching this video today is April 6th, 2021. Creative Fabrica is still doing their Easter sale. You can get this font for $1 if you're watching this video today, and I will link how to do that. If not, the regular font or the regular price is $13 for this font. I'm going to link to the font. To get it for $1, you just want to sign up for the All Access subscription, which is $1 for your first month. That's how you can get this for $1. And then you can cancel after that if you just want to get this font. Okay, let's head back over to Inkscape and I'll show you how I did this. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is lock our screen. This is important because if you don't lock it, let me show you what can happen. Okay, so here's this design, and I think I'm going to make it bigger, but oops, I'm like actually stretching it in all these different directions, and I don't want to do that. If I lock my screen, it just gets bigger and smaller. There's no other way to stretch that. So make sure you lock your screen, and then let's start with our text. So click on your text tool, and then click into your project, and we'll start this middle section first. This I don't give a F. Okay, so it's going to come in whatever font you were using last. I want to change this. This is the plain Sorenka, but I want it to be this Sorenka carved. So I just changed it up here in my font selection, and now it's got those carved out parts. And I can finish this out. I'm going to select my text again, click over here on the screen, and finish this out with the ISH. Now this I didn't want with the cutouts. I wanted this to be the normal Sorenka. So I'm going to come back up here to my text edit again, and I'm just going to select my normal Sorenka, and there it is. Okay, so now I have my middle section. I'm going to drag a box around all of this. I'm going to make sure it's perfectly lined up. So I'm going to come up here to my Align tool, and I'm just going to line up the bottoms of both of these just to make sure that everything is perfectly aligned. And now I want to group it together so that it doesn't ever get out of place. So I'm going to come to Object and Group, or you could have hit Control G if you wanted a quick command from your keyboard. And now I have the middle section of my design. Time to put in the top and bottom. So back over to my text, click into the screen and type in, take my caps lock off, feeling kinda, and then the bottom was the word today. Okay, so this is the basics of my design. You can see that's what I had up here. I'm going to align everything where I want it. Now that I'm done with text, I need to come back and click my selector tool so that I can actually click onto things. If I still had my text, when I click, it just thinks I'm trying to type in new text. So get your selector tool, and start sizing everything how you think you're going to want it to look. How did we have that up there? That was kind of in the middle of things. Okay. Now what you can do to make sure your top and bottom are the same size is select your word and then come back over here into your text tool and it will tell you that this word is at 128.4 in font. So selector tool, select my bottom word, click into the text, and I can put this to 120. Whoops, get back over here. I can put this to 128.4 in font. Here. Okay. So now they're the same size. This one, if I am in my text, 128.4. This one, 128.399. That's close enough. Okay. So, yep, that's looking about how this thing is going to be. Now you might think, okay, great, I have everything how I want it, I'm done. You're not. You're far from done if you want to make this an SVG file. The most important thing about SVG files is making sure that whatever you have on your screen has a node or a group of nodes. Nodes are what tell your cutting machine where to cut, where to turn, where to connect the lines. Nodes are important. So we have to first of all make sure that we are turning all of this into a path. A path will give us nodes. Okay, so I'm going to select my top thing here. And I'm going to come to Path, Object to Path. Now you'll see if I triple click in, I can separate each little letter. And I need to connect all of these together. So I'm just going to drag a box around all of those letters. Make sure every one of them is highlighted. Don't let any get left out. And then Path Union. It's important that you go through those steps. We're going to do them again down here. The reason being, I have now made a united path. I triple click in. Oh wow, look at all these nodes I have. This is going to tell my machine to cut. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Right now, if you look down here, it says text. If I click back on this one, it now says group of one object in one layer. It's not text anymore. Okay, so let's turn it into a path. Path, object to path. Okay, well now I have a group of 5 objects in a layer. That's because there are 5 letters. Let's connect all of our letters. Triple click in, you're going to get each individual letter. Drag a box around them all, make sure they all highlight. Path, Union. Okay, now I have a path. I've got 400 nodes in this path. This is a little node heavy font, but it will still work. Okay, so I have this path here and this path here. This is still text, so I need to make it a path. We grouped it together just so that it didn't lose its positioning, but we need to ungroup it so we can turn it into a path. Object, ungroup. Okay, select, path, object to path. Triple click in to separate out all of our letters. Okay, drag a box around them. Oh, my F didn't get into the box, so I'm just going to hold Shift and select my F, and now they're all selected. Path, Union. It's really important you do all of the steps. So we'll do them one more time here. Select your text, path, object to path. Click in, select each letter, and in this one I need to get the -2, path, union. Okay, now that we have everything turned into a path, we can start uniting all of these paths so that it always stays in place. Right now you see you can still kind of move these things around wherever you want them, but we want them to stay stuck together in the spot that we have them. So I'm going to select my first one. I'm going to hold Shift, select my second one, path, union. Okay, sometimes it won't work. It just kind of depends on the font you're using. If they don't unite, and you would know they united because this would be one box instead of two. If they don't unite, triple click in until you see all your nodes and do the same thing. Hold Shift, click that. I can see all my nodes, path, union. Now do you see how I have one box? Just keep going. This is all selected. Hold Shift, select all this, path, union. Okay, that box got bigger. It went around all of that. Keep that all highlighted. Hold Shift, get your next word, path, union. Okay, now, no matter what I do, all of this is going to stay stuck together. It is a united path. That also means it can only be one color. You can't have feeling kind of and today be one color and this middle part be a second color. When you unite the path, it is all one color. You have now created your text-only SVG. This is now ready to save and go into whatever you want to cut it in. To save it, you just File and Save As. Name it whatever you would want to name it and save it to your computer as an Inkscape SVG. And it will work in any program that you want to use it in. Okay. If you want to keep going, and let me show you how we got these guys here, stick around and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so if you want to get this outline that I had around, you're going to need to draw it. And we'll use this Bezier tool right here to draw the outline. So select your Bezier tool. And then just start wherever you want to start your little design. And at every place that you want a corner or a curve, you'll click. So here was my beginning click. And then I want a corner here. I want a corner here. I'm going to come through the word there, but I'm going to go ahead and add a corner because I know that I'm going to stop it for the final design. I'm going to add a corner here. I'm going to put one here, here, and here. So that's the basic shape, but I do need to finish it out so that I can turn this into a path. So bring it back to the first node and you'll know you're in it when it turns red. And just click that and it will finish out your path for you. Come back up to your selector tool and then get this little shape that you have here and drag it down so you can continue to work with it. Okay. To make it two different lines, we're going to need to create some offsets. So first, let's turn this into a path. So path, object to path. And now let's create some offsets. Path, linked offset. Okay, I want you to hold the Control key and then start clicking the right parenthesis and you'll see that this is getting bigger. You see that outline that's getting bigger? If you're on a Mac, it's Command and right parenthesis. Okay, so that's my first one. I'm going to select this top one. I'm going to do the same thing again. Path, linked offset. Control, right parenthesis until I get it the size I want it. We're going to do 4 of these in total. Okay. I'm going to select my top one here and path, linked offset. This is our last one that we're going to do. Okay, that should be good. So we now just have a bunch of lines that look kind of silly. We need to fill them in. So I'm going to select my bottom line here, my inner box, and I'm going to come to this fill tool. And right now the fill is an X. If you click this first box, flat color, it's going to fill it in. And that's what we need. Okay, select the next one. I don't think that got the next one. Let me move that out of my way. Okay, fill, and I want it to be a different color. I'm going to make it red. All right, let's do this one. Fill, let's make it like a pink. And then this last one here, fill, solid, let's make it a darker pink. Okay, these are going to be your 2 outlines. You'll take your inner 2, align them up. So I've selected both of them. I'm going to come to my align tool. It's right here. I also have mine down here. Align center and horizontally. Okay, now we're going to slice this black box out of the red box. So path, difference, and difference is slice in Inkscape. And I just have this outline now. I can turn it black. Beautiful. Same thing here. Drag my box around. Make sure they're perfectly centered. Path, difference. I have my outline. I'm going to turn it black. Okay, so if I put these two together, drag my box around and center them horizontally and vertically, I now have that shape that I was looking for to go around my words. But we're not quite done yet, because you'll notice here I cut into that so that there wasn't anything actually crossing my words. So I'll show you how I did that. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so these two things here, I need to make them one. These two outlines need to become one. So I've selected my outer outline, gonna hold Shift, select my inner outline, come to path and union, and they become one. Now they are all together as one item. It's important that you do that. You have to unite them for this next step to work. Okay, I want to block out something around feeling kind of. So I'm just going to grab a square here and I'm going to draw it. And then I need to move it behind my design so I can see what I'm working with. So with this selected, I just lower it to the bottom. And that's already looking like it's going to be exactly where I need it to be. So let me move this guy out of the way. I'm going to get this, I'm going to turn it into a path. And then I'm going to raise it to the top. This little box is selected. Hold the Shift key, select my outline group, and come to Path, Difference. And that is like, again, slice in Design Space. So I have my top one sliced out. Let's figure out where I want the bottom one to go. So I put my design back in here. Okay. Get a box, drag it around today. Move it to the bottom so I can see. Okay, that one needs to come in just a little bit. Okay, and again, that should be good. So I move out my top words here, take my box, turn it to a path, move it up on top. The reason I'm moving it up on top, watch what happens if I leave it on the bottom. So I've got these and I come to slice it out and it slices out of my little square. I don't want to do that. But if I take my square and I move it to the top, again, I'm using these tools right here to lower and raise. Then I can select my outline group, path, difference, and it slices it out. Whatever is on top gets sliced out of whatever is on bottom. There you go. Now you have your design. Something else I did that just is going a little bit above and beyond. You can see how I made my lines a little thicker and skinnier and just kind of played with them some so that they're not so perfectly straight like they are here. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so here's my little outline group that I have. I need to see its nodes. So I'm going to click over here on my nodes tool. And I've got all these different nodes in here. Well, I'm going to move my nodes in groups. Don't just pick one node, move them in groups. So I'm going to drag, oh, got to be careful there. I'm going to drag a box around these nodes. I just want to move those nodes. And move them up and over a little bit. Okay. So already I've got it looking a little different. Let me do the same thing over here. Drag a box around these and I'm going to move them up. Drag a box around these, I'm going to move them in. And drag a box around, whoops, get all of them. Come here, all of you nodes. There we go. And drag them in. Okay, so that's going to be the fastest way to get it looking to where it's not just so perfectly straight. You can come back in after that. I'm going to enlarge my screen here. I just pushed the plus key on my computer to enlarge the screen. And you can edit one individual node if you want. I can move this one. I can make this line a little thicker or a little skinnier. You know, there's several things that I can do here to get these nodes to look like they weren't just, you know, drawn by the graphics editor, to where it looks a little more hand-drawn. Okay, let me come over here and work on these nodes a little. Let's see here. And you can just kind of do whatever you want to do on each individual node to get your design looking a little more hand-drawn. I'm going to move all of these. Okay. So that's a little more customized. I did some things I kind of wish I hadn't have done, but you get the point there. That is what you would be doing to make your outline. And when it's all done the way you want it to be, you need to weld it all together again. So we're going to group everything together here. Path, union, and it didn't want to do it, so I'm going to click into my nodes. Get the nodes of that, hold shift, get the nodes of this, path, union, and that time it did it. Now I have one full solid design here with those outlines around it. All right, so that's it. That's all there is to it. You just save this like you did before. File, save as, name it what you want to name it, save it as an Inkscape SVG, and you're good to import it into Design Space, Silhouette, you know, your 3D printing software, whatever it is you want to cut it with. All right, that's all I have for you guys. See you next time.